Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. Today, the war in Ukraine is once again at the center of the global stage, not only because of military actions, but also due to the shocking altercation between Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump in the Oval Office, which was witnessed live by the entire world. Trump accused Zelensky of playing with World War III. These words have caused a great stir and made many wonder what is truly at stake in this conflict. And providentially, the well-known German seer, Manuela Strack, had received a message from Archangel Michael 10 days prior, in which he explained the causes of this war and how it will end. Stay with us, because what we are about to reveal, the war in Ukraine as a spiritual battle. Saint Michael the Archangel warned that this war is not just a political or military dispute or a struggle for power. It is primarily and above all the manifestation of a great spiritual battle. He told the German seer Manuela Strack that Ukraine is tied to the loss of Christian values, which has brought tribulation upon itself. On February 18, Manuela Strack received a message from Saint Michael the Archangel, in which the Prince of the Heavenly Militias revealed that this war is not just a territorial dispute, but a spiritual battle between good and evil. Saint Michael said, "Satan wants to seduce you into a great war. The time of tribulation still reigns, but you will enter a new time. I am appearing so that you understand that this war is not about the division of countries, but about the values of the Christian faith. This means that the conflict is not just about geopolitics. It is a reflection of a world that has abandoned God's commandments. The war in Ukraine is the result of a deep moral crisis that began long before the invasion. What was happening in Ukraine before the war? To understand why Ukraine is facing this tribulation, it is necessary to analyze what was happening in the country before the conflict. Historically, Ukraine was a Christian nation of great spiritual importance. However, over time, it drifted away from its spiritual mission and allowed the advance of anti-Christian laws and practices. Between 1987 and 1989, Our Lady appeared there just before the dissolution of the Soviet Union. In her messages, she called for the conversion of the country and its return to God. However, her warnings were ignored. Saint Michael revealed that Ukraine's sins were what allowed this war to occur. The sins that led to war. According to the Archangel, these were the key sins that influenced Ukraine's fate. 1. Surrogacy, the business of life. Ukraine was the epicenter of surrogacy. Before the war, it was the largest surrogacy hub in Europe. Thousands of women were exploited, used to carry babies, were then handed over to foreign couples, including same-sex couples. Ukraine government allowed this practice without any moral restrictions, turning women into baby factories and treating human life as a mere business. Saint Michael made it clear that this was a grave sin and that the blood of the innocent cried out for justice. 2. LGBT parades in sacred places. Another great offense to God in Ukraine, according to the Archangel, was the profanation of sacred sites through pride parades. Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, is of enormous spiritual importance because it was where the Russian people converted to Christianity in 988. However, in recent years, the government allowed pride parades to be held in squares and near historical monuments consecrated. This great offense provoked divine wrath upon the nation as they used the sacred territory to promote ideologies contrary to God's law. 3. Legalization of abortion and the culture of death. Before the war, Ukraine had one of the highest abortion rates in Europe. Since Soviet times, abortion had been promoted as a contraceptive method, and after independence, nothing was done to restrict it. Saint Michael made it clear that the artificial termination of life before birth is one of the sins that most attract tribulation upon a nation. This confirms what Our Lady said in Garabandal. When humanity legalizes the death of its own children, punishment will be inevitable. 4. Persecution of the Church and rejection of Christian faith. When John Paul II visited Ukraine, he asked the people to return to God. However, instead of protecting the faith, the Ukrainian government embraced anti-Christian laws and promoted a secularist agenda. It is even known that President Zelensky is not Christian and does not defend Christian values. Before becoming president, he was a comedian who performed vulgar and immoral acts on television. The consequences for Ukraine and Europe. By abandoning its spiritual mission, Ukraine became defenseless against tribulation. Saint Michael warned that nations that reject God lose his protection and fall into war and misery. He also warned about the consequences of this war for Ukraine and the future of Europe. The coming tribulation. Saint Michael the Archangel made it clear that this war is only the beginning of a greater tribulation. The war in Ukraine will not end easily, and its consequences will affect all of Europe. Manuela Strack received a vision of Europe after the tribulation. In the vision, several parts of Europe were destroyed, especially a part of Poland, a part of Bohemia, and Vienna area in Austria. He did not specify what caused the destruction, but is certain that Europe will not remain intact after this war. However, Saint Michael also revealed that after the purification, Europe will be restored as a Christian civilization. In the new era, the Lord's commandments will be respected. Man will once again recognize that sin always leads to war. Life will be respected and no longer despised. God is a God of life, not of death. The future, a restored Christian Europe. This means that after the Great Tribulation, Europe will become Christian again. The war we see today, and the one that may escalate, is not the end, but rather the beginning of a necessary purification to restore divine order. However, this restoration depends on the conversion of nations and the faithfulness of the people to God. That concludes this shocking message about the war in Ukraine and the fate of Europe. If you liked what we shared and analyzed, please like this video and share it with your friends. We would love to know your opinion on what we discussed. Feel free to leave your comments. And we ask you, do you think the war in Ukraine will trigger a greater punishment for Europe? Thank you, and may God bless you and the Virgin protect you.
Welcome to Mother in Refuge of the End Times. We are excited to be releasing our 4th book of prayers, introducing our most comprehensive book of prayers to date, entitled My Daily Prayer Book, Hope of a New Heaven and a New Earth. This collection of the most beautiful prayers is dedicated to and inspired by the Queen and Mother of the End Times. As is seen on the cover page, immerse yourself in the profound richness of Catholic tradition with Mother in Refuge of the End Times, My Daily Prayer Book. This meticulously curated collection features prayers for every moment and every occasion, providing spiritual support and inspiration throughout your day. Begin each morning with powerful prayers like the morning offering in the prayer to obtain the grace of all the world's masses. Deepen your devotion with prayers dedicated to the divine will and the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Honor significant moments with consecration prayers, including those to our Blessed Mother, Saint Joseph, in the most Sacred Heart of Jesus. Engage in heartfelt devotions to the precious blood in the Holy Rosary, and find comfort in the timeless supplications to Our Lady. Enhance your spiritual armor with prayers for protection, conversion, reparation in the Holy Trinity. This comprehensive prayer book also includes special sections for confession, Mass, the Holy Souls, bedtime, and saint intercessions, ensuring you are spiritually fortified at all times. Perfect for personal devotion or as a thoughtful gift, this prayer book is your companion in faith, offering solace, strength, and a deeper connection with God. Enrich your spiritual journey today and embrace the power of prayer with Mother and Refuge of the End Times, My Daily Prayer Book. As always, we thank you so much for your support of this ministry, and may the Lord always shed His grace and love upon you.